But, hey, at the very least, we had Safid coming in with another fun name for us at the start of today's stream, so we have options at our disposal. One more try will work for sure. Yeah, it can't possibly keep happening. That's the thing about probability. We just have to keep bashing our head into things until it works. I don't even have to improve. I can just play a sheer numbers game here. But let's hop in, shall we? Tengu once more. And this time around, tempted to go Fire Elementalist. We've been dancing around a bunch of different mage archetypes here. That's one that we haven't gone back to in a while. Please, Tengu Cinder Acolyte. 0.28 is stable already. Oh, I'm behind the times then. I don't think we'll switch over today. Unfortunately, for all of the Cinder Acolyte fans in the audience today. But I'll definitely keep that in mind. I was planning on changing over with the start of the tournament, so that will be to come. Ignis Sims. Yeah, tons of Ignis Sims in chat. Well, let's do it. Let's go with the Fire Elementalist. Especially since we are going to be Harvey Birdman. World's greatest lawyer. Kind of a negative of starting out as the Fire Elementalist is I feel like we're playing into our trauma because half our face has completely been destroyed by a fiery explosion, but that just adds on to our evil villain story arc here. And let's start training and get on the road. Oh, I guess we're not ready to get on the road. What am I doing? It's almost like my brain has been broken for the last, what, like 3 weeks now? At what point do I have to stop using that as an excuse and just face the fact that maybe I'm just permanently broken? Keep messing up on very simple things, but all part of the fun, at least to me here. And we'll also drop the seed. I didn't even pull up the right file location for all the morgues and whatnot because I had so much hope today. Went into it with so much positivity. Let us see here. Roaming. Crawl. Morgue. And let's open up the morgue for good old Harvey here and we'll post the seed for the game here. Especially with the beautiful like beach that we got to start out with in the dungeon. That's very nice. So just in case you'd like to play along from home, show just how much better you are and getting through in one piece here. Let's see. Very slow today as I try and navigate something that we've done every week for a few months now. But there we go, we get the seed up. Eventually, so that's nice. And let's hop out here. It's not a great starting floor for a Fire Elementalist, a whole lot of hallways, and not nearly enough open space to fill with our flames here, but ideally, we can lead everything back to a slightly more manageable place. A bunch of Quokkas on D1 also would be scary with any other character. Very lucky that we have the damage output of a Fire Elementalist here. Have we tried Tengu Delver? We have not. I've actually never tried Delver. I keep forgetting that that's even an option here, and we have been talking about that on and off for the last few streams. So one of these days, somebody's got to hold me to that, because I very much am interested in trying it out, seeing what that's all about. But let's get on the road here. Going relatively well so far, can't really complain, though that's generally to be expected with Fire Elementalist. Kind of hate it if I was already struggling by this stage. Missed altar. Yeah, the Faded Altar there, we could go for. I'm a little bit hesitant this time around, just because we have been promised. It has been foretold in chat that this is going to be our very final Tengu here, and we're definitely going to make it through successfully, so I don't really want to throw a wrench into that plan because that sounds nice to me. I think I could get behind that. So maybe we'll wait just a little bit. If something game-changing happens to us... Oh, let's not keep equipping ourselves. Nope. Instead, we can walk away and turn this, or put this amulet on in relative safety. Fantastic. But if we survive by the skin of our teeth, if fortune rears its head and lets us know that we're on an absolutely blessed run, then we'll go up for the Fated Altar, much like we did. I think that was on Palantonga way back in the day that we did a bunch of last-minute percentage crunching and barely managed to pull through and celebrated with the Fated Altar. So if the game sees fit to hand us another opportunity like that, then how could I possibly resist? But until then, let's play it a little bit safe here. And wait to see what kind of shops we see in the future. Could buy a nice cheap magic weapon. That doesn't seem like a horrible plan. But there's not a rush for it by any stretch of the imagination either. Aha. Get out of that hallway as soon as possible when we see an adder. That is much too rough for my tastes. In fact, that stairwell is just a no-go, no-fly zone. Let's instead pop around here, and that's going to be much better, much more manageable at the very least. Hello, my friends. Not too shabby. +4 Ring of Protection. Okay, that's a huge upgrade in the early game here in terms of our overall survivability. Let's hope that we can leverage this into something well and truly beautiful, shall we? Would be nice. And we're at a slightly better position for taking care of that adder and company that we left behind earlier. But I guess Auto Explorer has different plans in mind. Okay, I was really hoping that priest would die, and there they go, fantastic. Bit of a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. But there we go. Then we can just back up and finish it off with spells the old school way. Now we haven't been paying attention to our spellbook much here. We could learn Conjure Flame. Again, our human fire elementalist finally taught me to respect it in its current iteration. I was too spoiled from back when it used to be completely overpowered to use. Let's learn it just in case. It's nice to have that in our back pocket. And we're still training up. We also might as well set some caps here and there, I think. So fire magic, let's bring you up to somewhere like 12 for now. Conjurations can come up to 6. Probably we'll revisit that right away after we hit it. Spellcasting to 9. And let's get back on the road. Because overall, can't complain too much. In fact, I think that that's the adder that we left behind earlier. Much better positioning for dealing with that son of a gun, so you love to see it. McCleb is a bit of an interesting one. You don't get as much healing these days as you used to. Back in the day, that used to be one of my go-to gods, because it's just ridiculous. With a blaster caster, you could just constantly heal back your entire health bar with one cast of something like Ignition. But of course, with the healing nerf, not quite as effective. Still not necessarily like trash by any stretch of the imagination. But less than ideal. There we go. We finally get our wings, which is nice. And we get the ice starting book. Wild. So on our ice elementalist, we immediately start running into all the fire magic, and on our fire elementalist, we immediately run into a bunch of ice magic. How about that? Let's fill the room here. Similarly with these two, I'd like to just fill this room with foxfires and then let them come walking into danger. Another spellbook already. Ice Beast book too? Oh, was it? I didn't even notice. Oh my gosh. So it's better than the starting ice book. This is that good stuff. Okay, so I could definitely see that being useful depending on what other spells we see and how we manage to scale up over our adventure here. Definitely want to keep that in mind, just if we need some, you know, some meat shields or some non-fire source of damage, what have you. Oh my gosh, a centaur in a hallway. That's real rough. We even have the reflection amulet, but I don't think that that is enough for us to rely on. You have 22 health. Ice Blast is 3d27, or 3d7, so it deals 21 damage max. Probably take 2 casts. Oh boy. And take a few more steps. Hopefully we get around the corner. Oh my gosh, we do. Absolutely beautiful. Still not out of it yet, unfortunately, but there we go. That centaur can always be a frightening sight. That's definitely how we lost one of our Tengus early on. Should have 2 reflection amulets, that'd show him. Yeah, that'll do the trick. No more will we have to fear for our lives when we see a centaur down a long, straight, and narrow hallway. That's the dream anyways. Okay, now how do you win with Summon Forest? So yeah, that's another one of those spells that I've never quite given the time of day to. For all I know, it's actually incredible, and I'm just missing out, and I'm gonna be late to the party one of these days, as everyone else raves about it, but it's just far too situational to have any truly beneficial uses besides maybe learning it for Swamp. I could see learning it for Swamp for funsies. Okay, we get a decent selection of gods here. We do have Behemoth offered again. Could be nice, especially if we really want Ignition to show up at some point during our run, which, don't get me wrong, we definitely do. Also, took a weird explore path on the auto explore there. Probably wasted far more turns than strictly necessary, but that's fine. And let's see, do we try Behemoth again? I'm probably between Behemoth. Ashen Zari could be nice as well. What else? Dithmenos, probably not what we're looking for on this character. We don't have enough, like, straight up targeted spells. I think today I'll do something a little bit strange, a little bit out of character, and I'll gasp again, make my own decisions? Who knew such a thing was possible? And I think we will give Behemoth one more shot. Ashley is your go-to. I was very tempted, Eggly, even to just forego some of my issues with not IDing my stuff at a good point in time. As you can see, absolutely nothing has been read or drank. Very much in my usual style here. But I think I very much want to get this character blasting and casting. And so with that in mind, to that extent, I'm going to give Behemoth one more try. Part of it is also that I feel like I've given Behemoth a bad shake as of late. Made it look like they're absolutely trash based on my own playing. And we need to prove in once and for all that that is not the case, and that we can, in fact, make it out of this dungeon in one piece. With good old Magic Daddy at our side. Here we go. It's a nice little place for us to get the Conjure Flames, or the Foxfires rather, swarming around us there. I think I will also switch to a Flail of Venom nice and early on. That's pretty sweet. A little bit slow attack-wise, but ideally we won't be doing a whole lot of that for the time being. Another spellbook too. Okay, let's be slightly careful that I don't anger this buddy in a bad capacity. Guess what's the plan here? I don't know what my plan was. Let's do something like this. This seems much better. Or not much better. That's kind of surprising. There we go. We do manage to kill the iguana. And it's a very distant hiss of sand still. So let's immediately try and break out across the map. Probably head for bottom side. I think that bottom side sounds nice at this stage. Ah, hello friend. Probably should have used an opportunity there to put down a conjure flame, but all is well that ends well. Also a jib. With a wand, of course, because why would we have it any other way? Well, at the very least, we don't immediately have to face down our fears. There's also the ossuary nearby. So let's take a quick peek around. There she is. Fantastic. Or not? Maybe in one of these doors? It's gotta be, right? How about that? Bit of a strange ossuary opening here. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. But in general, we should be very well suited for taking out the undead. Very much in the opposite vein of our last character, where cold magic is always going to struggle against these buddies. Fire magic is oftentimes extra effective. Love to see it. In fact, this is an ossuary that I think could have been very tough on any other magic-based character, just because immediately coming face to face with 3 mummies can be a little bit of a panic situation. But here we are and managed to get out. Vehement offering us shock as our first spell. Not too bad. I think Vey is best with the later earth spells. Iron Shot and LCS with extra range is super strong. That's very true. And just guaranteeing that you get access to those spells in the first place is a huge part of why I find Vehement to be a suitable option. Let's break out of our net here, and then we will end up heading down, I believe. I think that we're in a relatively strong position here with all of our Foxfires to continue going and potentially get some treasure. That's what we came down here for in the first place. Some ideally not cursed treasure would be absolutely fantastic. That's looking quite nice. Perfect, that's exactly what we were hoping for. Quickly gather all that up. And then, in another shocking twist of fate, let's do something a little bit crazy here. Let's actually read some of our scrolls before we get to D8 and we're in over our heads already. Have a decent number of fear scrolls, and these other ones should be ID. They are indeed. So let's get curing first. Not too bad. Ideally health. Degeneration is kind of the opposite of that. No free nets. When did that change? Yeah, I think if you can blink out of them, do you still get free nets? I think that might be the case, but every time that you break out, you're tearing it to shreds, unfortunately. We just don't know our own strength. We may have brittle and hollow bones, but boy oh boy can we shred a net when we put our mind to it. Healit or Spring could just run around until done as they regenerate, but zombies do not. Very true. And in fact, even the Tengu ourselves can do that to a lesser extent. It's a little bit trickier, we're not quite as fast. But we still beat out a bunch of the regular old monsters in the dungeon. I know, it's a shock, Eggly. I don't know, I've come under some bad influences or something. Read IDing? Making proactive life decisions? Crap. I was hoping to make it to that stairwell and escape without the ogre waking up, but immediately things started to go poorly. So let's instead just stand on these stairs, release an onslaught. Okay. It's kind of working out. Fantastic. You love to see it. So there's us using a little bit of that good old bird speed to get ahead of the group. And 0.26 is when they got rid of the infinite nets, eh? Yeah, such a shame, too bad. Huh. I've only heard legends of the Hat of the Bear Spirit, and I've never gotten the opportunity to wear this myself. Doesn't that look nice? Actually having some willpower for once in our life could be brilliant. That would have saved us last time if we didn't have to worry about becoming paralyzed in an inopportune moment. Well, that definitely makes the shopping list. It's only 508 gold, too. It's no Hat of the Alchemist, but it's something. Largely, it's something because we can actually wear it, which is not always a guaranteed given when playing as a Tengu, of course. Also just realized that I completely forgot to check out these gloves, so let's quickly click back here. Pick these sons of guns up, and now between that and the AC ring, we're looking quite a bit tougher than our previous characters. In fact, we're already at the same armor class as when we died on the last one. Scorpion is a little bit stronger than I gave them credit for, so that would have been a good opportunity to throw down a Conjure Flame, but unfortunately I thought about that plan a little bit too late. So instead, we must compromise, and here we are. We'll run away a wee bit. See if we kill them though. We do kill them on the next cast. That makes it potentially bearable here, even with the Orc Priest. Fantastic. And Weaver and Zombie definitely want to back up and get all the fire that we possibly can. And that is beautiful. I will switch to a Dagger Venom. It's a little bit easier to use. And perfect. And that is true, Colgate, that in order to use the speed tactics on the Tengu, we do, of course, have to hit level 5. Versus the implicit speed of something like a Feel It or Spriggan. See, Mind Burst is 65% chance to work. You have 18 health. What is the damage? Pretty good odds that we one-shot you. So I think I will reach into our pocket there. Fantastic. We absolutely blow that Scorpion's mind, reveal the secrets of the universe or something. And... oops, that's not going to protect us, but that one will. How are we doing against Edmund? Not great, so let's take all these Sons of Guns on a little bit of a rampage. We, of course, are dealing with the repercussions of hitting that invisible marked trap. Fortunately, it's not the end of the world for us here, especially since we can just run away. Does Naga outrun anything? Not a lot. Another Naga who's already slowed, maybe? That's about as good as you're gonna potentially get. Okay, let's just fill the air with Foxfires, and then we can heal up here. Nice little source of treasure here, a bit of a trove that we've ran across by chance. Love that. Especially when all the kobolds come at us one by one and we manage to take them out. The reprise of the Edmund fight here always was one of my least favorite Narnia characters. Ooh, we're kind of committing to this one. But I guess that's just the way it's got to be. Fortunately, Edmund does walk into our conflagration, so let's just poison the heck out of that son of a gun, and then we can run away. An Club plant. That is true. That's about as good as you're gonna get. Inanimate objects. +2 chain mail and a +5 flail is pretty wild. That's actually a lot better than I thought that you had on you when I initialized that fight. Could have very well ended poorly for us. But a nice little chunk of treasure here, including a bunch more ID scrolls. So let's immediately reach into our bag here. We get Heal Wounds potions identified. That's huge. And allows me to switch over to the scroll sides of things. Getting Enchant Weapon and Enchant Armor. Not useful at the moment, though it is likely to be so in the future. And Scorpion, this time around we have the space to deal with. Wait. No, don't kill the lemur. Oh gosh. I almost did the unthinkable there. Killing an innocent spirit? I would never. Now, we're not in a good position to take down Pickle. We could take some lemurs and park them upstairs, maybe. That would look something like this. Bring you here, then run away. For anybody who may be a bit newer to the show here, and who is absolutely stunned about why the heck I'm doing all this nonsense, it's because I refuse to kill these poor innocent souls, and I'd much rather take the head right off the serpent and just get rid of the big bad themselves. Pickle, of course. I would say that I never liked pickles anyway, but that's not true. I love myself a good pickle. Especially on like a nice egg breakfast sandwich. Fantastic. Or a Cubano. Lovely, lovely, lovely experience. Okie dokie. Let's keep going around. Have I ever lost to the Zot clock? I have never lost to the Zot clock. I think the closest I've ever gone would have been still a decent couple of turns left to go. I think like maybe the lowest I've seen it even is in the like mid to high thousands of turns, or 1,000 turns. Right, save it? It sounds weird, but pickle, egg, bacon, fantastic sandwich. Nice toasted bread. Let's see, what's my best bets for taking care of you quickly and safely? You have a Whip of Freezing, so that's not too bad. And if, actually saved, yeah, if you think pickle and egg is weird, the thing that just popped into my mind is that in the States, don't a lot of people have like pickle and peanut butter sandwiches? That's something that seems mind-bogglingly... Why do I keep trying to say words that I can't pronounce? Strange, regardless. Not my cup of tea, but it's a fairly prolific snack. In fact, I feel like pickles are some of the main perpetrators of a lot of those like weird combinations that sound disgusting until you eat them and then they're actually delicious. I think pickles have a pretty bad track record for being in that category. Okay, just about through with pickle. Don't you dare kill the lemurs. There we go. We do manage to take them out without hurting any of the innocents. We release their souls into the afterlife because we are the good dungeon Samaritan that we are. And then let's move on here. Well, my mind just continually gets sidetracked by random pickle-based snacks popping into my consciousness. I guess one of the main things that I feel like my pickle breakfast sandwich would be truly next level at is as a hangover cure, because bacon, the fat in bacon is good, having like a little bit of fat in the cheese as well, and then pickles are supposedly like the be-all end-all hangover cure, even though I don't eat them often enough for that to be something I can anecdotally give credit to. But okay, we once again run into Harold. I feel like out of all the uniques in the game, Harold has been the most consistent as of late. Almost every game we've ran into them and had to skip the floor and move on temporarily. And I'm not sure if this time is going to be any different. We could try to turn you into something else, but then you become a jumping spider, a manticore, or an orb spider? No, thank you. I think I would rather just leave this place. Walking through some unknown territory is not the best move when trying to free yourself from dangerous situations. But we managed to make it far enough regardless. And what can I do to prevent running into you again? I could put an exclusion here for now, I guess. Still explore the rest of this section of the floor without too much danger. And there we go. Those phantoms, oftentimes a real pain in the butt on our casters, but thankfully Foxfire is just too strong. In the right situation, of course, but as long as all things go according to plan, we should always be in a situation that is optimal for our lovely flame buddies here. And let's get back to it. Did we just get teleported? How about that? Not exactly what we were hoping for, but turns out okay as we make our way through the level, no problem. Fantastic. Making pretty good time overall here too. Thankfully, Foxfire is just too powerful for that exact kind of thing. Let's put the Conjure Flame down and then just launch an endless assault. Fireballs, the two-headed ogre going down, fantastic. It's a fight that we'd normally struggle with again by a long shot at this stage in the game. And being able to take it out means that we get a huge surplus of experience, which is always a pretty fantastic thing here. And let's see where we're sitting in terms of our spells. Haven't been paying attention too closely to what Vemmet is offering us, but I don't care too much. There aren't a lot of level 3 spells and below that I have much interest in going out of my way to learn at the very least. It's mostly once we get some of the conjuration spells, or especially once we're in the higher levels, that we'll want to pay close attention to that. But we do have Fireball down to 7% already, which is pretty huge. So I think I will learn this just to have it in our book. And on top of that, we can turn Fire Magic back on, bring it to something like 14, and we can put Conjurations back on as well, bring it up to 8. And that should make that fully castable, which is nice. On the flip side, Fighting can start being trained a bit, and we could do something like Dodging as well. Tempted to do Armor so that we can switch up to something slightly heavier. If we do a quick search for Armor here, is there anything that we could potentially sneak away in and where we'll cast a magic? There was a +2 rogue willpower for sale. That's not bad. Fortunately, we're saving up for this beautiful hat, so we're gonna have to wait. Ice Form is a really interesting one. I actually realized the other day somebody asked me about Spider Form, and in my head I was like, oh, that's the one that you use for poison resistance. Then I immediately realized, no, that makes you susceptible. Oh gosh, don't use it for poison resistance. And it was only the next day that I remembered Ice Form is the one I was thinking about. Ice Form can be very nice to learn, if just because it gives you poison resistance. So if you're really struggling getting through some of the S branches in the game, maybe you got Snake, and you really just desperately need poison resistance and haven't had any source of it, well, there you go. Something like Ice Form can do so, while also giving you some more defensive capability on top of that. But let's run away from our new yak friends here. And that should do it. Oh, you came across the fire. Okay, that's fine. We'll kill you the old-fashioned way. I guess that still kind of works out. And let's head down a different stairwell so that we don't come into the waiting arms of a welcoming party of yaks, because I feel like that's how you lose a character in one turn after coming down a stairwell. And I don't know about you, but here on the show we do our best to avoid that kind of predicament. Please walk up to me, you absolute fool. Fantastic. Okay, I maybe shouldn't have immediately cast the Foxfires because this is a slightly more dangerous fight than my brain initially was logging it as. We do have Fireball, so we could just start blasting. And in fact, I think I will just to play it safe here. And once more, oh, I can't get past you to hit your friends, hey. But that's much better. As long as we're hitting multiple of them with each shot, it should be worth the magic cost. And that does indeed seem to be the case. So, Steam Dragon. Yep. I was afraid of that. Can't really take one more turn of that, so we just barely managed to squeak by and make it to the stairs. Oof. You're gonna be annoying to deal with. Don't really have much at our disposal. Unfortunately, we don't have any fire resistance yet, and that's the big thing to protect against the scalding steam of those little buddies. Well, I think we still have one stairwell left. We do not. Two of them must have been close enough together to overlap. That's fine. This one is relatively safe. And let's just hope we don't run into them again. Ah, hello, friend. Nice to see you again. 30 damage, eh? 30 damage. We could do it in 2 Foxfires if things roll well. Because that's 36 damage. We could do it in 1 Fireball if we just luck out. Oh, we failed a 5% chance. That's too bad. Come on, I need one of these to roll well, or else we are almost definitely screwed. Then it accepts our kill. Okay, we got it. Probably slightly riskier than I should have been willing to put forth. Maybe that would have been a better time to like read a teleportation scroll and just hightail it the heck out of there. But we made our decisions, and fortunately, we get to continue on living with them. That is not always the case. I was kind of hoping to beat you to the punch and force you to stay in our great conflagration of fire, but that is fine. We'll instead just take you on a little bit of a merry jaunt around the level, throwing the occasional fireballs, or I guess Foxfires, rather. And not too bad. Another ID scroll we can immediately use since I'm trying to be slightly more proactive this time around. Learning from my mistakes, something that I talk about a lot, but generally don't do a great job putting into practice on this mission, I guess. But not too late to change that, at least a wee bit. And the centaur we can just fight off against. If you swap like that, it's a good opportunity for us to just run away and gain some ground. And then we can ideally just blast both of y'all. Guess not. Okay, centaur warrior is very bad for us. Oof. 16 damage. And when you switch to the bow, that's going to be the bow added alongside that. Fortunately, we're next to you for the most part. 2 turns. Maybe survive. Cross our fingers. Jeez